Previously on Elysia Rising.
Algernon is thinking of the loose ends and the mysterious invitation of the Lord Reticent.
Invitations, please.
We hand them over.
It is so good that you could join us, Ms. Ravel. Would you rather Magpie or Amina?
You find me at a disadvantage. You are?
My name is Nefani Ravabella Valenmar, the stepdaughter of Regentess Turia Valenmar, the previous leader of Elysia. I seek an artefact. We wish you to venture into what remains of Castle Antolyr in the Ivory.
What's the end goal here? Is she looking for a restoration of the House Antolyr at the top? Is that what we're doing now?
Could we go in from the back via the outside?
No. Absolutely not.
Who is standing at the front of the four of you on the edge of the veil? The veil that's been keeping you alive for the past 2 years. Who's holding hands with someone else?
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the North. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an Asavar spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
Welcome back, everyone, to Explorers of Elsewhere. Hi, hello, yo. How you all doing?
Hi.
Good.
Amazing. Another very quick break while we prepared ourselves for this upcoming mission. Should be good. You've all decided to have a little sortie into the wide unknown.
Could go wrong.
Yeah,
What
we're
could go
starting to sit boring, you know. We want to go for an excursion.
Are we definitely doing this? I thought maybe it was all a bad dream or something.
Just a fever dream. No, you are doing it. I've got it written down here in crayon that you're going through the veil. So, yes, we are going to rejoin you as you begin your Castle Antolyr score to acquire a MacGuffin of a sort, a sort of 2-foot-ish cube-like device for the Lodge Reticent Nephile. During the break, I was discussing with Meg and realised we forgot to give Frida XP for the castle job. So, looking back through our notes, during that mission, you did a desperate wreck towards the end to clear an exit route for the crew.
I did.
So
I
that gave you
hoped
an
out.
XP. So that's a pip in XP, which I believe fills up your prowess bar.
It does, and I'm going to put that in rec, so now I've got 2 in rec.
Amazing.
I'm a
And then
rocket.
looking through it, we've decided 4 XP was going to be sort of like the sum total. So how are you distributing those 4?
I'm putting 3 into resolve, which
Yes.
will give me another pip, which I'm going to put in a tune. I've decided I'm
Interesting.
going to get a bit ooky spooky. And then I'm going to just pop the last pip in abilities, which doesn't get me anything yet, but soon.
Okay. No worries. So in that case, that with you caught up, +1 in rec, +1 in a tune, and 1 step closer to a new ability. Bish bash bosh, nice and tidy. Shall we begin? Amazing. Okay. There is a cold, wet, almost damp feeling that touches your skin and faces as you push your way through the veil.
Oh, it's like going into Stargate, isn't it?
Mixed with a slight... It's a curious, like, cold heat mixed with an almost an electrical tingling as you press through this magical barrier. And as you do, your respective spirit bane charms, upgraded by the patron of the Spectre, begin to glow brightly. And in doing so, the veneer of spirits that seem to be pressed on the outside are pushed away as if by like a polarized magnetic force. Like scrabbling, their claws kind of reaching out and scrabbling at you as best they can as they're kind of moved away by the magical abilities of these spirit bane charms. And you take a sigh, there's a sigh of relief, presumably from you all, as you realize that these spirit bane charms are in fact as good as the maker said they were. And as the four of you step through, the first thing you immediately notice is the chill. You immediately feel like those of you with hairs on the back of your neck, you feel them begin to stand on end. Your arms get goosebumpy. You start, like some of you start to involuntarily shiver, your lips quivering slightly at this seemingly intense cold. And the air itself, as you breathe it in, it tastes sharper yet staler. But as you kind of acclimatize, you stand, and as you look behind you, you realize that the veil behind you is opaque in its pinkish magenta hues.
So we can't see back into the bubble.
You cannot see back in. And you take a moment to glance up, and you just see this literally city-sized dome rising up above you and stretching out left and right. And because of the haze of the distance and the haze that kind of lingers in this place, it's difficult to see where the broken edges of Elysia, like outer Elysia, are before they just kind of merge into the darkish purple hues of the void that surrounds the city. Yes.
Questions. How much do we, and I suspect Atta might know the most, but how much do we, the people of Elysia, know? Oh, thank you very much. I've got a drinky. How much do we know about? It's apple cider. It's okay. What do we know about what makes up this void? Like, are there theories? Has anyone studied it? Do they want to,
I will redirect that question straight to Atta.
Yeah, fair enough.
What has Atta learnt that makes up the void? Like from either mad theories that she's heard from people or research that she's done. Actually, I'll open up the question to everyone. What are your understandings of the void?
So the outside bubble.
Yeah. What are we floating in? Because it kind of feels a bit like it could be a lot of things, couldn't it? It could be like outer space, which doesn't, have any breathable air or gravity, but actually clearly we're not dying. People do go outside the bubble. They don't last long, but that's presumably because of the ghosts rather than the atmosphere or anything like that. Like, what is this place we find ourselves in? Like, what are its properties? Is it clearly it's cold? Yeah. It's a bit like you're going into water light almost. sort of almost a slightly thicker atmosphere than what's inside, it feels like.
I will happily accept a fact from you about the nature of the void, and then we'll build on it.
I mean, breathable, I think, is a
Breathable,
solid
yes,
one.
yes. You're able to breathe, which is a good start. Yes.
I think one of the things that maybe Atta found out from mad scribblings, wherever Atta finds their mad scribblings, is that time works differently out here. Like, so perhaps with all of the different magics involved in and all the destruction, like it's not like there's maybe a theory that it's not just one set of time, but there are different pockets of faster or slower or otherwise.
It's unpredictable how time will pass when you're outside.
Okay, so there's time dilation that you've heard of. JC, what one factoid has Algernon picked up on?
I think Algernon believes that it's some kind of underworld or afterlife from like a forgotten theology.
Okay.
Void law.
Very, very interesting. Nate, what's Cavern heard? What's Cavern been taught by the church?
I think, well, Cavern's been taught by the church that the rest of elsewhere has gone to the void, and that Aya has protected Elysia from this void. But I think that Cavern's heard many different ones. Like, same as sort of like Algernon has thinking, he's heard that people say that we're in outer space, that we're underground, that we're in a pocket dimension. I think he's not made a complete decision on where we actually are. He just is quite interested in almost in an amused state of hearing what other people think, and also where sort of like those ideas come from, like which factions, which pockets of people those ideas come from. So he's not really set himself. He likes to think that elsewhere is still out there somewhere.
Sure. Okay. And what one factoid has Frida picked up?
Oh, that basically, if you go outside the bubble, then nobody gets hurt ever, right? And actually, you heal, and treasure grows on trees.
Yeah.
And if that sounds like Megan's wishful thinking, that's because it is.
Okay, that's a very intriguing idea. They are all true, unfortunately, for Frida's assumption. Yes, it's sort of like as you kind of step, those of you there, as you step through the veil, like everything you've been kind of brought up, or everything you've learnt, you've been told about the void in the past couple of years of Elysia being stranded, that in this moment all seems true, and yet that feels like it doesn't scratch the surface. This place is impossible. It's like Atta, as you kind of look around, it's almost as if like the laws of the material world don't seem to apply. Your eyes struggle to fixate on things because distance no longer seems to be uniform. It's you know your senses simultaneously seem sharpened and yet dulled. Things seem hazy. It seems like you're in an almost a dreamlike state. But one thing is for certain: there is a chill that is gnawing its way through to your very cores. And thanks to the spirit bane charms that are hanging around your necks, there is a seeming gathering of restless undead loitering about 6 to 10 feet from your positions at any given point. But as you as you make your kind of first steps, you notice like the spirits are kind of pushed away from you. The ones behind seem to follow up, but whereas when you were inside, they seem to be scrabbling up and down the edges of the veil. Now they seemingly stand like people, like a crowd that is parting as you take your steps. But there's a look in their eyes of these kind of seemingly featureless undead faces that say that you are trespassing. So, you've emerged. The south wall of Castle Antolyr is to your left, and your, the street that you're on is the same street that you were on just a moment ago, but it's ever so slightly kind of colour shifted, and you realise that you can't see any real breaks in the wall from what you see, so you know you have to continue on. As you go, and that chill just begins building within you, you realise, as the spirits around you grow in number, that very soon you will be overrun by ghosts. That is
how long?
First segment of a 6 o'clock.
Yeah. How long do these Spirit Bane charms work for? Did you say they're one?
So they are
one go only.
So the spirits around you seem to be kind of hovering away, but you notice. Magpie, you chance a glance and you notice that one of the spirits that's kind of lingering behind you seemingly manages to take almost like a few steps within the boundary within the aura before kind of being pushed back. So you wonder if there comes a point where there will be a critical mass of spirits near you high enough that they'll break through the magical barrier.
I think Magpie would probably say, let's not linger here, and start making her way at pace along the south wall.
Okay.
I agreed. This is creepy as hell.
Okay. So in the interest of time, how are you approaching finding a point of ingress? Are you planning on going around until you find a break in the wall or a gateway, or you're going to attempt to scale the walls?
Well,
or
does Algernon have a sense of roughly the layout of House Antolyr, or did we look this up beforehand?
I'm sure that's flashback worthy as Algernon sips his cup of mushroom tea.
Yes, so in the present day, Algernon is up in the highest room of Cadwallader Manor, the Eyrie, and he's keeping an eye on the Castle Antolyr from the Ivory side with a telescope. And he's also wearing one of the Gossiper's earrings, which he's beginning to find quite fetching. Yes, so I would like to do a flashback to perhaps study some of the old documents relating to Castle Antolyr and the Ivory to see if there is some kind of entry point on the other side of the veil.
Sure. Presumably picked up from your good friend Fairfax?
Of course.
Good old Fairfax.
Okay, so
he must be terribly bored.
He's planning for a dinner party. He tells you as you meet him on your familiar bench. Unfortunately, he likes neither of them. But Mrs. Fairfax tells him that it is important to keep up appearances.
Your life is one of constant adventure, Fairfax. I'm quite jealous.
He chuckles. What is it you're after, Algie?
something of a white whale for your department, I believe, Castle Antolyr.
Fairfax looks like he chokes. He coughs on his like mushroom mush pack lunch that he always seems to have, and he turns to you and, "That's a big ask, Algernon."
I thought you could do a little bit more excitement in your line of work, Fairfax.
He furrows his brow. I'm assuming this is a consort?
Sure.
I'm going to start, because of the nature of the documents that you're after, I'm going to start you on a risky limited.
I'll take that.
Oh, look at that!
Ooh.
6. Lovely.
Oh, nice one.
Okay.
And a 5. Safe.
So the memory of Fairfax's furrowed brow kind of lingers in your memory before it gives way to a more recent memory of Fairfax's furrowed brow as he hands you a rolled up parchment. I'll need this back quick. This is the sort of thing that they seem to notice when they've gone missing for a time.
Why, of course, Fairfax. I wouldn't want to drag your name through the mud.
I appreciate it. And is everything okay, Algernon? They have to, especially with the children of Ire rushing around as they are. There's very few reasons why anyone would want to go into the castle.
Everything's fine and dandy, old boy. Don't you worry about me. You enjoy your dinner party.
He
Let me know if you want any gossip on either of them.
he takes you up on that offer as payment for getting you this map. So Algernon, back in the present, you notice on the map that you've managed to kind of figure out where the Vale intersects with the building, and they call it Castle Antolyr. Fundamentally, it is like a mansion come manor house, but it's got a wall, which therefore makes it classify as a castle. But yes, you note that if you're not going through the front door, the easiest point of entry is through the the stables into the servants' quarters on the northeast corner. So the crew are currently walking along the southern edge of the castle. So if they kind of loop all the way around to like the 1 or 2 o'clock position of the castle, there is a open area for the stable animals to have gone in and out of once upon a time. But then that would kind of bypass the walls, any potential defences and so on and so forth.
So I remind my team of that via the Gospel's earring, and I want to just check in and see if it actually works going through the veil.
Sure. Who else is wearing the other Gospel's earring?
Frida's not one for jewellery.
Tell you what, Algernon, who did you give the other earring to?
Magpie, come in. Can you hear me?
Hello, Algernon. This is Magpie reporting from a very terrifying situation. What have you got for me?
Algernon, you and Magpie, you both noticed that the voices which you've heard in your ear before, like in your mind, before have been quite clear. But Magpie, you notice that Algernon sounds as if he's very far away, underwater even. Like he's shouting into a filled bathtub.
Right. Okay.
And Algernon, when Magpie responds, you note the same.
I don't think Magpie wants to raise her voice too much in the place, lest it anger the ghosts.
Sure. Yeah, Algon, are you sharing the location of the point of entry?
I'll just I'll remind them of where they're heading to.
Sure. Okay. So as you're going along, are there any precautions that you're taking? What are you actively doing to help kind of prevent you coming a cropper of misfortune?
Magpie's prowling, obviously.
Okay.
She's trying to stay close to the wall.
Well, that actually, yeah. Let's look at it that way. Are you all kind of going? Are you going quickly? Are you going quietly? Are you trying both? Are you going how? Are you group actioning a prowl?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we like in a circle where we're all sort of facing out? So we've all got an eye on everything around us.
I feel sorry for the poor bastard that's got to run backwards through the.
Yeah.
I think quietly is probably what.
Yeah. Okay.
What we're trying to do.
Who is leading this group prowl?
Just remind me again, what's the benefit to the leader of doing a group anything? Because, what's the upshot of a group action that can't be achieved through everybody doing it themselves? Sorry, go ahead.
If everyone does it themselves, then there are 4 chances of failure. If everyone does it as a group, then there are 4 chances for everyone to succeed.
But then the person leading takes all the stress. Yeah. Right.
So, who's leading this group prowl?
Does the person who's leading have to be the one with the highest prowl? Necessarily?
Nope.
Okay,
no, then the one who's going to take all the stress.
Well, Frida currently has no stress. So, because, she may or may not have got traumatized. And I think, I would also argue that leading the group into, a big old thicket of ghosts is quite... So...
Reckless, yeah.
Reckless.
I don't know. I mean, because you're risking the lives of your friends, not just yourself, which is kind of what reckless is. But sure, we'll let you lead. Have you? Are you equipped with anything in your loadouts to help with?
Yeah.
So what is it?
I've brought my big fancy wolfkin sword with me.
Very good.
And I've also brought my ability to imbue a melee weapon with supernatural spirits in order to gain potency in combat versus the supernatural.
Nice.
So basically I can punch ghosts.
Duff up the ghosts!
Which is great, because I can also grapple them and restrain and capture them. How cool is that? So I'm gonna headlock a ghost if it comes too near.
Sure.
And maybe stab it with my sword. So I'm prepped for that, basically.
Okay.
Love it.
In which case, if the 4 of you can roll me each a prowl, and Frida, for if you fail, you take a stress.
Great. I've got no prowl, so this will be fun.
Uh-oh.
Is it just risky standard?
This is risky standard, yes. So we got a 5 for Magpie, a 1 for Atta, a 4 for Frida, a 3 for Cavern.
Ooh.
Okay, so Frida takes 2 stress.
Okay.
And it is a partial success. So, as you're moving along, Frida, you telling everyone to shh, quiet, shh. So you manage to sneak round to the kind of point of entry. That said, there are more, just through time spent, and like the amount of kind of magical items in your around your persons draws more ghosts. So by the time you reach the stable entrance, like the stable gates, you notice that the ghosts are like the spirit bane lockets are trying harder to keep them away. The ghosts are just like through sheer weight of numbers, quote unquote, are like pressing in on you. Okay, you arrive at the northeast corner of Castle Antolyr. In front of you is a portcullis, a relatively small portcullis, sized big enough that carriages could come and go through it. And you notice that there's a standard door, like reinforced door alongside it, presumably for non-vehicle bound persons. As you look up, you can see that there's effectively it's just like crenellated walls at the top of the wall, but yeah, you find yourself on the other side of this kind of portcullis, and upsettingly, the door and the portcullis both appear to be closed.
Is it something that I can pick a lock on, this person-sized door?
The door to the left of the portcullis does look like it is pickable.
Excellent. Anyone have any objections?
Before you do that, Dan, can you remind me,
Yes.
when I wear the glasses, does it see through like some surfaces? It doesn't. No, okay, no surfaces.
That would be cool though.
Putting them on now, you can only see about 6 foot in front of you before you just see this wall of like white patchy lights from all the spirits that are just kind of loitering around you, like a bubble that's trying to eat you.
Right. So shall I tinker with this door?
Sure.
Do I want to do? Is it risky standard or?
So it is. Well, it would be a very high tier lock, but you are an infiltrator.
I'm an infiltrator, so I'm not affected by quality or tier.
So we are still risky, and you reset that difficulty back to standard.
Cool. That sounds lovely. Now I've got 2 in tinker. So is it worth me adding anything onto that? I wonder. I mean, if all goes wrong, maybe Frida could burst the door down. Well, that might attract ghosts. That might not be a good thing.
I could certainly give it a go, Magpie, but I don't think that would be a good idea, if I'm honest.
Let me try this first, probably for the best. What do people think? Should I just go for it with a 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than happy to help if you want it.
Wow. Remind me how help works again?
Cavern will take 1 stress.
Ooh.
Take 1 stress.
And then what? I mean, I get an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy to do that, Kevin? Oh, cheers.
Yeah. So you notice
Cheers, my
that
dear.
out here, light seems to fluctuate in its brightness. So Cavern, presumably you're illuminating.
Give me a light source. Beautiful.
You've got a lot of stress already, Cav. Do you want me to step in? I've got 1 stress.
Maybe
Ooh,
you've got more of a
actually.
tinier light. You've made yourself a tiny light, so it's not just this massive lantern that's like held over.
It's a snake cam, but torch. Sorry.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Ataf. Thank you for the help. +1. Oh
Nice.
boy.
Okay.
Oh
So
boy.
Oh, partial.
Close, but it's all right.
you do it,
Uh-huh.
but you notice as like that. So Atta and Magpies, they're busy on the door. Cavern and Frida, you're stood up with your backs to the other 2, and you're watching as the number of spirits approach, like that you're catching the attention of, is growing at an exponential rate. As the sheer size, it's like a zombie horde. The sheer size of the spirits just seems to be ever increasing the size. So I'm going to add another 2 pips, another 2 segments to your overrun by ghosts clock.
Can I maybe flashback to help that?
Yes.
Can I flashback? And maybe I was you tell me if this is like too much, Dan, obviously. Maybe I was bringing up the rear, like in the circle, walking backwards. And if Atta's had time to do some inventing, just with some of the spirit bottles that you can trap the ghosts with, but just so that they're remotely activated. And just as she's been walking backwards, she's just been placing gently spirit bottles down on the ground.
I will allow that as a resist.
Okay. What does that mean?
So,
to resist the...
Yeah, to resist the complication.
Clock change, yeah.
I will consider that a resolve resist, because it's innately quite magical, but I will, like, your soul drained injury won't come into this because it's like doodads that you've been using.
But if I'm helping with the lock, I would have probably handed Frida the thing that's got a big button with some, Sharpie written around it, which is
Wait, what am I supposed to do with this?
It's up to who. If anyone would like to resist, I mean, Frida. If Frida wants to resist it, it'll be effectively a resolve roll.
I'm happy to do the resist roll. I've got 3. If I do, so a resist roll, you roll resolve, you roll
Correct.
one dice because I've got 1 skill in it.
So you click on resolve, so it's a 1 dice resist.
Yeah, Frida, you would get 4 dice for this resist.
I can give it a go. Yeah.
Okay.
If you've got that.
So
Frida's resisting that complication.
Okay. And then just straight roll.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You take 3 stress.
Okay. You take 3 stress.
Oh boy.
Does that
I
mean
wonder
you
what's
don't-
going to be trauma number 2.
No.
So Frida, as you act like you notice that the ghosts as you notice the ghosts approaching, you activate the trigger rune that Atta's given you, and you notice a number of the spirits kind of get you hear cracks and bangs. A number of the spirits kind of get sucked into these spare spirit orbs that are lying around like Ghostbusters ghost traps, but that only seems to kind of start to rile up the ghosts, and as they surge forward, you're able to you have to resort to sort of fending them off with your spirit bane, waving that Bloodseeker blade about a bit, but you as you're fending off these ghosts as they get closer and closer, you hear the click from the door behind you, and Magpie, the door swings forward, and you and Atta kind of tumble through almost. But yeah, you now have entrance to Castle Antolyr's interior, inner grounds. If there's anything Algernon would like to do, pipe in. Just apart from hearing the screams through the gossiper's earring. So the 4 of you tumble through. You are now in this sort of open area. There are kind of low fences dotted around, clearly for keeping in sort of various what would have been cattle animals and so on and so forth. You can see a large horse stable over to the right, and there is a small staircase, a few steps, sorry, beg your pardon, leading up to a door on the edge of the castle building itself, and you would assume that is your point of entrance. I assume you're going to that entrance with haste.
Yes.
Okay.
Dan, question: with the spirits,
yes,
are these how we know in Earthworld as spirits, as in they can go through sort of objects, or is there no spirits in this area?
all know from experience that the spirits of the void can phase through physical material.
Yeah. We need to get to the other side of the bubble pronto.
So, yeah, you can see that this door on the edge of the building, like you can see it, right? And the opaque shell of the veil lies slightly like beyond, like behind that door. So you know you have to go through the door and then perhaps through a room before you're back on the safe side of the veil. But yes, as you very quickly, presumably, make your way to this like stable door, you're thankfully the handle just turns and the door opens. This one is not locked, and you find yourself in a room, sort of like wooden flooring. It looks quite like dilapidated. At your kind of consensus of like the strange movement of time, this room looks like hundreds of years old, like it's been abandoned for hundreds of years. The wood underneath is almost soft underfoot. You can see it's cracking. There's thick layers of dust lying around, and the air itself is a bit kind of hazy with, you know, like dust, if you will. The room itself is it is quite spacious. It's about 20 foot by 40 foot. You can see a number of sort of like tables. There seems to be a like a food preparation island in the middle of the room. So perhaps this is where the cattle's food was once upon a time prepared. And you can see there is a door on the left-hand wall and a door on the far wall away from you. You can see clearly the door on the far wall, bits of the like a slight curvature of the veil bending through the door frame. Where are you going?
So it sounds like the one straight ahead is a bit of a surefire get back to safety, but the one on the left is unknown. It could be.
You may very well get us there quicker to
maybe
where we need to go.
Yeah.
Dan, question.
Yes.
There's lots of ghosts around. Are they? If I was looking in like items and looking in the book, and there's such a thing as ectoplasm that exists. Is there like, if one of the door, is there ectoplasm just hanging around or out here? And if yes, then is one door more ectoplasmy handprint used than the other?
So I think for the purposes of the Elsewhere campaign, the ectoplasm is fundamentally just like soul energy. So if you were to destroy a spirit, you would fundamentally be kind of dissolving the ectoplasm that it is constructed of. It's mana. We'll call it mana for all intents and purposes. So in that sense, but potentially, I mean, probably not at a cursory glance. The fundamental differences are one of the doors seems to be covered by the veil itself, and the other one doesn't. So, which door are you going through? Left or forward?
What do people
Split
think?
the party.
No. I feel as if since we've managed to fend off the overrun by ghost clock a little bit, maybe we take a risk and go left. I feel as if it's the obvious answer is to go straight ahead. So there must be a reason there's a door off to the left that is
it's
so
that whole
straight to safety.
It's that whole we get straight to safety, but it may take us a little bit longer to find, or we run into Children of Aya, or
hey lads, you know what they say, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's just go through the let's go see what's about. I think we've bought ourselves some time.
Let's look through the left hand door.
Does Algernon have the maps?
No. Does Algernon have all the answers for us?
You're going to the latrine.
If you're frantically asking over the Gosper's earrings, Algernon, like you like doing your best to kind of figure out the blueprints, because obviously you won't necessarily know what is in the rooms based off these blueprints. But you'd be able to make some educated guesses, especially with your experience of Cadwallader Manor, if nothing else. So you suspect that through the door in front of them is like the servants' quarters. So effectively, it's almost there'd just be lots of relatively small rooms that would house all of the house staff, the castle staff. It would seem the door to the left would lead to a corridor that would let them go to, like, there are a number of rooms towards the back of the castle. There seems to be a staircase up to the next floor. There's doors to what appears to be like the dining hall. Yeah, it leads to a corridor that leads to other places.
So what we're saying is all the expensive stuff is probably through that door.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, maybe. Could be worth it if we're feeling risky.
Or feeling reckless.
I will require a decision, or I'll tick up this overrun by ghost clock.
Stop it! Don't tick it up. We're deciding.
Let's go through the naughty door.
Naughty door.
Let's do a naughty door.
Okay.
Naughty door.
Naughty door. Okay, so you head through the naughty door on the left-hand side. And you find yourselves in a long 10-foot corridor. There are doors on either side of this corridor, 2 on the right. You can see 1 on the left, and as you head down the corridor, you notice a large staircase up. At the far end of the corridor is a 4th door. So 1 on the left, staircase on the left, 2 doors on the right, a 5th door right at the far end.
Oh my god, there's too many rooms to check. Can we quickly open all the doors and glance and see what's behind them, rather than doing a slow comb through the whole manor?
If you wish to open all the doors, you absolutely can.
I mean, one at a time, making sensible
may
decisions
or may
as we
not
go.
tick up as you go, but
Oh
you
my
absolutely
god.
can.
Do you want to do like another group? Like someone takes the stress for it, but then we use the whole group to like just go and check through all the doors.
What would that be?
I mean, we could always sort of like not properly split up, but certainly split up insofar that, you know, like
everyone
down the
takes
corridor,
a door.
Everyone
Yeah.
takes a door.
Yes.
And do a group action that way.
Would that
There's
be
4 doors.
a survey?
It wouldn't be like you can just open them and then I'll.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're opening up all of the doors.
But like we're taking a door each.
Yeah, sure. So who's taking the first door on the left?
I'll take it, yeah.
So okay, so Catherine, you've got the first door. Who's taking the first door on the right?
I'll do that one.
Who's taking the second door on the right?
Me.
Who's taking the door at the far end of the corridor?
Yeah,
Atta?
good. I'll do that. Yeah.
Sure. And then the staircase goes up. Like you very quickly figure that out. So Catherine, you open your door and you find a room with what you assume once was a rather plush green carpet. It now looks kind of moldy and rotten, a bit threadbare. There is a large table. The legs seem to be bowing with age, and what you assume would have been a shiny kind of varnish veneer on the top of this is now kind of old and peeling and cracked. There are 8 chairs around this table, and from your time working in the gold pot, this looks like a private gambling den. You wonder if perhaps the lords and ladies would have done card games and whatnot in this room. So it's like a gambling recreational room.
Can I see any other doors that are going anywhere else from this room, or is it just a one enclosed room?
There is a door so from where you're stood looking at it, there's a door in the far right corner. So that would be like the south wall.
Right.
The door on the first on the right, which was Frida, you go to open the door and it seems stuck slightly.
Oh, I'm gonna shoulder it. Let's wreck it.
Okay. Roll me a wreck. Risky standard.
Oh, for God's sake.
So you drop your shoulder into it, and you, like the door, like there's a loud bang as you smash into it, but the door is surprisingly sturdy and holds fast. I'm going to put 2 more on the overrun by ghosts clock.
Did you want to resolve that at all, Meg?
5. Do you want to resist?
Resist it, sorry.
Oh, what have I got to lose? Yeah, let's resist it. The prowess risk, right? Resist.
Resolve risk. Prowess risk, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Nice.
there we go. Success.
So you only suffer 1 stress, and I will reduce that by 1. Okay. Who took the second on the right? Was that Magpie?
It was me.
So you go to open it. The door is also jammed.
Mm.
Well, it doesn't seem to open, I should say.
Okay. Leave it and see if there's another way into it, maybe.
Sure. Next to you, Atta, your door also appears to be like it opens slightly and then just kind of seemingly is bumping into something. It feels like it's bumping into something.
Like, how much is it open? Like, this much?
Actually, Magpie's one is the one that opens slightly,
okay.
but only like a couple of inches, and Atta, yours appears to be locked.
Okay.
Through the couple of inches that the door opens, you can see through the crack in the like in the space that it creates, a solid like pinkish hue wall. So you think that this door is bumping right up against the veil.
Okay. Would that stop a door?
It seems to.
There's something else.
Yeah.
Up against it.
Yeah.
Right.
If mine is just locked, I can give it a go trying to tinker.
Okay.
I would have to add lockpicks to my loadout, right? So
Yes. In this time, if you want to do a study, Algernon, you can potentially try and figure out, give them some foresight on what they're looking at.
I have another idea.
Mm.
I would like to flash back to a meeting with Musto Van.
I'll go book
good
Musto
friend.
Go get myself
It's been
ready
a
for this.
long time, you know?
Right,
It
hit
has
me.
been a while.
Where's our boss babe?
Musto, old boy, it's been a while since one of our gentlemanly catch-ups.
Oh yeah. I must say I've missed them. To be honest, I've missed them. Yeah, you good? You good?
Quite, I've been hearing all about your exploits in Old Town.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, I've been keeping busy. Although between you and me, right, that songbird's been really crawling up my arsehole.
She's a bit of a harsh taskmistress, isn't she?
She's a little bit, yeah. But
I've also heard that she's a little bit disappointed with you.
what? I mean, it's quite difficult to like break into a prison, you know.
I imagine so.
Arguably, this is the first time that you've discovered that the Cobbles have been tasked with trying to get into Bell Tower. And it would seem, from the look on his face, that it has not been going well.
Quite well. If you need any help with that, me and my crew might be able to do you a favour. And of course, if you need any backup with the Songbird, you and me go back way.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really, really do. Yeah, I mean that'd be grand. I mean, those. I'll be honest. Those bell ends in the kindling, They've just been like lobbing fire bombs around, and like they've just gone and increased the security. So now it's even harder to get in. It's just an absolute pain in the knackers. Is what it is. Algernon.
Listen, I was reminiscing about our previous work, and I remember a little job that we did a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We stole that orb from that antiques dealer. You don't happen to know what ended up, where that ended up?
Well, I mean, it sounds like, as I understand it, you and Songbird are like a bit like this now, right? Like you lot and her are best mates. Not as best mates as we are, but pretty still good best mates. But yeah, that turns out that she was using it because it finds magic items and stuff. So she was using it to find magic items. But I mean, it's easy to find magic items because usually they're like glowing things. But I think she's looking for something very specific. It's like a compass, I suppose, but it focuses on magic things. So it's a bit weird because there's just so many magic things in the city. But yeah, maybe she can fine tune it to find some. I don't know.
So do you know where it is or not?
I don't know exactly where it is, but the last time I saw it, I was giving it to Songbird, yeah.
Well, listen, maybe I could give you a little bit of a task. If Bell Tower's proving to be a bit of a pinch, maybe you could borrow that orb on my behalf. Songbird doesn't have to know, just between you and me.
I mean, I suppose, he says, looking at the reputation clocks. I suppose we are really good mates, aren't we?
Yes, and I'd rather keep it that way, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, we are allies.
Wouldn't want the Songbird hearing about any more of your exploits.
Yeah, no, you're right. Right, tell you what, I'll have a word with Quiet Tom, to see if he can get hold of that for us. Right? Yeah. Don't you worry. You can trust me, because if we are nothing, we cobbles are super reliable.
Yeah, you are.
Very reliable. Also, this gives me vibes like you see in teen movies where the jock makes friends with the really vulnerable, uncool kid, so that they can use his house while his parents are away to throw a big rager party and then absolutely wreck the place.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. So Musto manages to, through the quick fingers of Quiet Tom, manages to procure, you flash forward, and Musto's just kind of got it on his desk, and he's looking proud as punch. He's so excited that he's currently sweating. So he's just sort of wiping his forehead with the back of his hand, and then just wiping his hand on his coat. On his jacket. There you are. Why did you need it again? And then we'll flash back to the present. Where is this orb?
I imagine one of my teammates has carrying it.
Sure. Okay. In which case, whoever is carrying it, please add it to your loadout as, just pick a one weight loadout item.
I feel like Atta would probably want to have something like that.
I also have a heavy. I did choose a heavy.
You chose heavy.
So
that's perfect then. Sure. If you're carrying it.
Okay, so in which case, in your bag is this sort of it's a big bag because it's I think we said it was about a meter wide, didn't we? Because it's
like
a big
papoose.
Yes.
She's got a orb papoose.
Yes. So unstrap it from your backpack. What Algernon, what was this thing? So you would have known, having interacted with it, that it can pick you. If fundamentally you're almost sort of programming magical frequencies.
I wrote down it was like a divining rod.
Yeah. So it's almost like I guess you could describe it as if we're talking D&D terms, it's a bit like find magical object. And yeah, the orb just kind of, if it makes you sense what way you need to go with it. So
do you want me to have any stress for that flashback?
Yeah, that is quite a big change. So let's say we'll say 2, because that was quite in depth. So yeah, what is it you're divining for? Was it another conversation with Nephilim to tune it into the MacGuffin she's after?
Yes, and there's also potentially Lady Antolyr's crown, which might have a sort of, maybe it has like a stronger arcane signal. I'm not entirely sure what this box we're looking for actually is.
I mean, the crown would be easier to tune into because it's more like you've experienced, like the knowledge of the crown would be much more prevalent than whatever this box might be, presumably. Okay, so it's tuning into the crown. In which case, Atta, as you produce this kind of divining orb, it indicates. So as you're stood facing the end of the corridor, like facing your door, that is locked, it feels like you need to go in a sort of like a 2 o'clock direction based on your current orientation.
Okay, so that would either like be,
so you need to go southwest slightly, yeah,
or like, so it could be Magpie's door or my door, essentially. Sorry, I'm gesturing to a map.
Yeah. It could be either or.
So yeah, okay. I'm gonna kind of whisper as kind of covertly as I can to Magpie. I think the orb is saying either this way or your way. I'll try and open. Would you want to try and open this, and I can try and open yours?
Yeah, mine seems to be stuck. I can. Is yours locked?
It's locked. Yeah, it's locked.
Let me have a go.
Okay, I'll swap with Magpie, and I guess like to try and shove it, to try and get the door open. I
Tell
might
you what,
try.
Frida should take my door, and I should take your door.
Well, I was thinking either
I'm still nursing my shoulder from the last one. I won't be doing that anytime soon.
Okay, fair enough.
I was thinking maybe Atta's got like some kind of, like a car winch, like kind of break open like gently pry it open.
Well, I think like something like a crowbar is on the list of things you can bring. But we'll start from the top. So, Magpie, are you picking the lock? Okay.
I'm going to pick the lock of Atta's door.
Sure. So, risky standard.
Tinker?
Yeah.
Okay. 6!
Okay, so it unlocks with a satisfying click, and it opens to reveal, like the first thing you see, like on the ground peering up at you, is the face of a savage, snarling beast, a wolf of some sort. And there's that initial panic, and then you realise that behind the head of this creature is the rest of its fur laid out in a rug.
Oh, okay, fine.
But having a quick glance through the room, you notice there are a number of tables, there are a number of like lounging sofas. This seems to be a lounging room, like a recreational lounging room. Your mother has one. It's not as big as this one, but it looking around, you can see there's one door up in the far left, like to your far left, but it seems to be, you know that's a small room, presumably under the stairway up. But there are no other doors that would kind of lead in the
doors,
direction that the divining orb is telling Atta to go in.
No. Okay, so it's probably Atta's door then. Okay. Oh no, my door, my original door. The door that Atta is now at.
Well, Atta, Frida, what are you doing are you doing anything in particular to get through Magpie's original door, the jammed one? That is slightly ajar now.
I thought you said it was a door. No, I added burglary gear, which I'm assuming has some kind of... Oh no, wait. It has vials of oil, but not a crowbar. But I guess I added it to be the crowbar because I couldn't find the crowbar in the list. I
mean, maybe you could call it a weapon.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So like
a tinkering tool. Yeah.
Are you thinking
it
would take up? Would it take up 1 or 2 slots? Are you thinking?
1 for a crowbar.
Okie dokie. So I'll keep
call it an unusual
gear.
weapon, if nothing else.
Okay, cool. I'll just I'll rename it crowbar for our cases.
Yeah, tell you what, I guess I've got an idea, right? I'll put my strength behind that crowbar. What I really need you to do is pull on that handle as I do. And with that, can I try wreck again using the crowbar, but maybe with some help from Atta?
And
I'm happy to help.
Or, like, I know this almost feels like a little bit of get out of jail free card, but do you want me to use my emergent divinity? Like it puts 2 heat on the situation, but it passes the whole roll.
I feel like the ghosts will notice the divinity, right?
Or will it be like in D&D when a cleric like goes "ah" and all the ghosts scatter?
Maybe.
You never know.
If Meg wants to roll, then I'm happy to help.
Okay.
How much rec you got?
I've got 2.
Okay, so with a bit of help, that's could be all right.
Okay, so it sounds like a risky standard to begin with, and you get 1 upgrade. You can push for 2. Regardless of what happens,
the
ghosts reach critical mass.
No, don't take the bargain. Don't take the bargain.
Is the veil's not behind
this door,
is it?
Yeah, the veil is behind this door, yeah.
Oh, what? Magpie?
Yeah, so if we tumble through this door, we'll be okay, in theory.
We see...
Assuming the way is clear once we get it
Let's
open.
take the bargain, and then I will expend my special armor to get 2 more dice.
What? How many dice is that going to be?
3. 3 extra upgrades. So your risky standard. You can trade your position to make it a desperate greater.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, would you say that that would be quite a reckless thing to do, Dan?
No.
I mean, it's quite reckless, arguably.
Well, she gets 1 bit of trauma.
It's quite reckless.
Right. Okay, in that case, let's do desperate greater.
Okay.
So that's 2 upgrades, and then I've got +1. Haven't I?
No, desperate greater will be your new baseline. You can't upgrade the effect anymore, so it would just be 3 extra dice on top of your base 2.
Real. Okay.
So 5 dice desperate greater.
Yeah, so Frida says, right, spits on both her hands, rubs them together and goes, right, lads, this is how you do it.
Oh, look at that!
Finally!
The door, you barge the door as Atta pulls the handle down with such force that the door swings open with a all but comes off its hinges with the aid of the crowbar. Atta and Frida, you obviously with the momentum of Frida's body punch, the two of you fall through the doorway, and to your horror, you land on the veil and don't pass through it.
Oh,
You
come
little
on.
shit.
Like, Atta, as you sort of like because there's a pain as your face hits the side of the veil, and it's like you've just kind of run into a wall, but it feels almost kind of spongy to the touch, and like as you kind of go to push yourself up, your hands sink into it slightly before pushing back, almost as if the veil is trying to keep you out. Because you accepted the devil's bargain, I will complete the overrun by ghost clock.
You know, that's very naughty, Dan. You're so naughty.
And Atta, you realise that you will be able to force yourself through the veil, but it's going to require something to do so.
Loves true kiss. I don't. I smooch the veil.
Because this is we're talking magic here. I'm kind of suggesting something along the lines of a group attune to allow yourself to phase through the veil.
Okay.
It's good I put that pip in a tune earlier, isn't it?
I've got 0 attune.
I've got 0 attune. I'm gonna have to. Oh, can we push ourselves?
You can push yourselves, and bear in mind, if you go for a group action, then it just requires one person to pass.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna push myself. So
who would like to lead? If
Not
it is,
me.
yeah. Well, as an aside, bear in mind, if you're leading, you are currently at -1 dice because this will count as soul drain.
Yeah, so I've only so it'd be like I have 2 pips in a tune instead of 3,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
Yeah.
So, as you realise this, you can feel the light emanating from the soul, the spirit charms, almost seems to begins to rapidly diminish, and you can see that the spirits are beginning to move down the corridor like an undulating wall of faces. Yeah, everyone roll me attunes.
I'm pushing myself.
Okay.
Oh dear.
1.
Oh,
I
2.
must be pushing myself.
Fuck's sake.
Hey,
well done.
Oh, I rolled. No, you would take off that 6 because it's the last dice.
Come on.
So,
Oh, you're kidding
Right.
me.
Oh, piss
Oh
off.
my god!
so I don't know what a 5
A
would
1,
be. Sorry, Dan.
2 1s, a 2, and a 5.
I'll have
You-
the 3 step.
Manage to push your way through, but Atta, the sheer panic of trying to kind of get everyone to phase through this veil as these ghosts kind of descend down upon you, costs you 3 stress, and the sound, the wailing of the spirits gets louder and louder and louder, and as the 4 of you tumble through into what appears to be a large dining hall, the screaming that has reached a crescendo in your ears, Atta, just as you're the last to go through, suddenly stops the moment your head phases through the veil. And as you turn to look, you can see the faces pressed up against the veil of the spirits, and they there's that anger and resentment etched across their features, but they are once again stuck, and you feel that you notice in this moment there's a familiar smell to the air as you're once again back inside the veil. As you tumble through, Atta, you sort of well, how is everyone feeling? Let's look at it that way. How's everyone feeling as you all tumble into this large dining hall?
Alarmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, alarmed. I think Frida was quite up for this excursion. Thought, yeah, this is going to be something new and exciting, and now she's not a happy bunny.
Sure.
Megan's wondering, what have we done to piss you off today, Dan? You're being so mean to us.
I mean, I'm just rolling the punches, you know. As you pick yourselves up, Atta, you kind of. How's Atta doing very specifically? How's Atta's emotional state, physical state, right now? Having just literally, like, escaped a spirit tide by less than seconds.
Atta's never felt more alive. Honestly, like, there's, you know, when you're so scared, it's like, you know,
thrilling.
Yeah, you know, like roller coasters, I suppose, for people that like roller coasters, because I do not. But I suppose it's got that element of, you know, we've been languishing in a city doing smuggling. We're really out here doing something. And I think Atta's kind of probably pressed up against, like, the looking at the angry ghosts, and she's looking for someone specific, and she kind of has been this whole time. She's kind of been looking out for faces.
Well, as you peer at these, like, you know, there are definitely faces that are staring back at you, and like their mouths, the jaws seemingly unhinging as they're almost trying to, like, bite at you through the veil. And as your mind is occupied by the thoughts of faces that you knew from before, the other three of you stand up to see at the other. So in this grand hall, like, immediately to your right, is a small dais with what appears to be like a throne, and a large coat of arms sigil of House Antolyr suspended, like, attached to the wall above it. There are large kind of red drapes that are a bit more, that are quite, like, rotten with age. There are two large stone tables that run lengthways across this grand hall, like, away from the dais. And stood between the two tables is a dark-skinned Lorivar man with, like, a young-looking goblin and a second Lorivar woman. The three of them are stood there looking at you very perplexed, because they've just seen the four of you tumble through this door, like, seemingly through the veil. And Atta, as you turn round, the Lorivar man at the front of this trio stares at you and says, "Atta? Is that you?"
Oh.
And you recognise your old gang member, Alejandro.
Kind of blinks and rubs their eyes and kind of is. Did you all see people? Or have I gone mad?
As Alejandro looks to you, the goblin steps forward and, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And you notice the goblin instinctively draws a dagger.
Oh.
Oh, we're exploring. We're looking for something. What are you all doing here? And put that away. It's scary enough here without daggers.
As you ask this question, Atta, what was it that went wrong on the last score you ran with Alejandro before you parted ways?
Oh,
and whose fault was it? Yours or his?
Oh, as much as I'd love to say that it was somebody else's fault, look at Atta's track record. I feel like Atta and Alejandro probably were, you know, there was something exciting about the tinkering and something exciting about making the new things and trying to, like, make jobs easier. And I think Atta hadn't had many folks other than Asma and family interested in her madcap ramblings. And so somebody being interested, she would have been like, oh no, you put the switch here and then there's a little spark that goes here. So it's probably, she likely blames herself for it, but it might have been sort of like a, who knows who put the extra explosives on the rats or whatever, you know.
Sure. In which case, Alejandro, like, as you say, put it away to the other goblin. Alejandro tilts his head and, no, I think we'll keep it out for now. It's safe if this way, he says. And then, like, looking at the four of you, are you... Why are you four here? Did you come through the Veil?
We just thought we'd have a nice day trip together, that's all.
The Laravar woman next to Alejandro, like, steps forward and whispers something. And Alejandro looks back to you and, perhaps if we're here for the same reason, maybe we could help each other. We're looking for a book, like a magical tome. Like we're looking to get rich quick. Are we on the same page?
Frida sort of crouches down to Atta and like whispers in her ear, "Hey Atta, can we trust this twink?"
I mean, he is ridiculously hot, Dan. Come on. Come on, Dan.
Or whatever the Elysia like equivalent of twink would be. Would they have their own word for it?
I can't see him. He's hidden.
Can you not?
From me.
He's pretty hot.
I'm not...
He's very pouty.
I want to see the hot Laravar.
He's fantastically attractive.
Oh, stop saying that. I can't see him.
How many margaritas are there? I know. I don't know if maybe in normal circumstances, no, Frida, but we are in a strange place, and I'd rather more help than not, but maybe keep your bigger, better weapon ready just in case.
Noted.
Well, I'll kind of turn to the rest of the group. We help them find a book. We can ask them where they've been and whether they've seen what we're looking for.
Are they looking for the vault? Because if they are, we could all work together.
And also it'd be interesting to find out how they got in.
Mm-hmm.
A way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost on the same page, Alejandro. Let's share some information and then see how that goes. And we haven't passed anywhere that looks like a library, right? That's had books, so we can't.
Where is the divining orb right now?
I think, yeah, like, you know, those kind of. I think because she's got a heavy loadout as well. I think she's just got, like, you know, one of those camping backpacks that's
Sure.
like it's probably either in the top or in like a quick release bottom bit.
Sure. Okay, so a quick glance tells you that the orb is now pointing to your left, so through the southern wall of this great hall. But yeah, Alejandro narrows his eyes and, well, perhaps we'll tag along with you, but we should probably be quick. While we were walking around, we heard some ominous rumbling.
TM.
TM.
Frida gets hungry. That's probably her.
No, there's something in these halls, and we hear it coming and going, but it's probably best if we never find out what it is.
I know we're awfully short of time, but hi, I'm Cavern. Nice to meet you. Grabs his hand for like a nice soft shake.
In the back of the head. Like, come, stay focused, Cavern.
The man nods and Alejandro Barrel.
Hopefully one day we'll be able to meet under a little bit more calmer situations, but I say we make haste.
Cavern, if this ends up with me beating up any more bloody City Watch, I'm gonna kill you.
I can see him now. Yeah.
Yes, big old pouty lips.
So the two, Alejandro's two companions introduce themselves. The goblin introduces himself as Grubbin. You would assume that that's a nickname. And
hope.
the Lorivar lady introduces herself as Lucine. Yeah, the two Lorivar look to each other, look to you, and then after you, they say. But be quick. Yes, sorry. Which way are we going?
So you said there was a door like the far end of the room, but to the left?
So sorry, yes. In terms of this room, so from where you're stood, what is effectively the southeastern corner, I say there's these two tables that kind of stretch away from you to the other side of the room. There's a dais immediately to your right. You now that you're through it, you take a chance to glance behind you, and there was a like what seemed to be blocking the door was a large display plinth that had a full suit of armor attached to it, which had tumbled down, and the heaviness of it, effectively you were trying to push that out the way. But Frida, you noticed that the door on the other side of the room that you were trying to push through has just been fully barricaded, and you notice that there are a number of probably like 2 or 3 like corpses laid around the table. And given that they're not particularly stenchy, and you suspect that perhaps they died during, like they died 2 years ago, either when, presumably when Elysia first got here, and yeah, they've been rotting for so long now that they are now just kind of stale carcasses. Otherwise, there are fireplaces on the walls to your left and right, so effectively against the north and south wall. There are doorways just beyond those fireplaces, as well as 2 doors immediately in front of you on the far wall, which, based on the maps and sort of like checking in with Algernon, you suspect that will lead to the grand hall, which leads to like the outside. And there are 2 kind of ancillary doors either side of those, I swear. But yeah, there is 1 door to the left, Atta, which is going to be of import, you suspect.
Okay. That's the one that Orb is sort of saying.
Orb's telling you it's to the left, yeah.
Okay.
Algernon, as you're hearing like one half of the conversations from Magpie, is there anything you're picking up on or want to do now that you've heard that there are new tag-alongs?
I've heard that Cavern's got himself a new interest, and I'm just wondering what's the condition of Frida's shoulder. That was the last thing I heard.
I'll probably let him know that we've got company, and that one of them seems to know Atta, and I might discreetly ask him into sort of a little cut hand so they can't necessarily hear me if the name, what was it, Alejandro Balrel means anything to him.
Yeah, it's likely I've done some sort of research on my gang members.
Sure.
So yeah, I might ask what he makes of that name.
Tell you what, roll. Yeah, how would you have gotten this information on Alejandro if that, if you do want to have some info on him? Like, what would you have done in the past?
It's a study role of doing like a background check on Atta back when I was assembling this crew back in the first place.
Sure. Yeah, by all means, roll me a risky standard study then. Okay. So, you would know that this Alejandro is, like one of Atta's old gang members. Like, he was the leader of her old gang. But despite how much prodding and poking you did, all you ever found out about was that things didn't end well. Which is possibly why this Atta is on your doorstep, asking for a spot. But no one really seems to want to talk about it. All you've really heard is that, like, Alejandro has had run-ins with bad people. So I'll list that as a complication. Said complication will be ominous rumbling. Yeah.
So I relay that to Magpie. It's an old associate of our girl Atta's, Magpie. There's some animosity between them, I believe. Might have fallen in with some worse characters than ourselves.
Do we know who he's currently working for?
Afraid not.
Beyond my current reach, I'm afraid. Would be useful to know.
Oh god. This is me, Julia, the player, is now just thinking if we end up getting tangled up in whatever gang's business he's a part of, this could, depending on who it is, it could be really bad. God.
I mean, we could just cut his face off.
All right.
Wait, what?
Okay, well, moving swiftly on.
That's incredibly reckless.
We could. There's only 3 of them. We could just kill them.
I mean, we could take them, but we don't.
They're also good cannon fodder, Meg. Cannon fodder.
So, the 4 of you, and the 3 newcomers, Alejandro included, you all kind of, like, all your ears prick up as you hear, like, a quiet but growing in volume.
Oh no, it's a T-Rex.
What do you do?
Move away from the sound.
Yes. Let's follow the orb.
Good.
Okay. You follow the orb through that door to the left?
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we head out, can Atta, like, tap Magpie and say, Algie might be interested that there's a throne and, like, the sigil stuff here.
Yeah, I probably let Algernon know about that.
Well, so I should say that you know, the crest, the coat of arms above the throne, is like, it's just straight up the crest of House Antolyr. So you all would know it. And the throne seems to be, like, during banquets, you know, parties of the sort. Lord or Lady Antolyr would be sat on this throne, like whoever is in power at any given point, to sort of, like, overwatch the guards. You can see that there's a small table that would have been on the dais for the throne, that's kind of tipped over onto the ground. Yeah, was there anything in particular about the sigil that you wanted to bring to Algie's attention, or?
It's a good, like, point of reference for where we are, I suppose, but also
Sure.
like, if we're looking for crown, I don't know, like, maybe it's not far from the throne. I don't know, you know.
Sure. Well, using that point of reference, sorry, go on, Julia.
I also might want to let Algernon know about the T-Rex that is currently stalking us, or whatever it is making that booming and rumbling.
Sure. Okay, so Algernon, you're told very explicitly, like we're in sort of like a dining hall and there's a big crest and there's a throne. So you're able to immediately pinpoint where they are in the building. You notice that the room to the left that they're saying that they're going to go into, like looking at the blueprints, like flicking it backwards and forwards between the various levels, you notice that that room seemingly spans all three, like the ground floor, the upper floor, and the basement floor. Like the room just seems to be one large sort of like 40-foot tall room that moves through all three floors. Which is a very curious design choice. And by all means, if you want to do something to try and figure out what this supposed T-Rex is, what this loud stomping is.
Sounds rather ominous.
Yeah, I think I want to know what Algernon makes of it. Like, is there are there tales of like a stone golem that stalks the passages of Castle Antolyr or something like that?
We do know that there are crystal golems around in the castle.
Yeah, exactly. Could it be something like that?
Algernon, you suppose that these sort of like runic golems that were once were the defenders of Castle Antolyr, based on the description that Magpie gave you, you suspect that one of them is still active.
Great. Super duper.
I put a pip in hunt. Can I try and, like, as we're going through the door, kind of put my goblin ears out and try and, like, triangulate a sort of position? I've only got one pip in hunt.
That's clever.
I've not got loads,
that. It's a good use for it.
Somebody wants to help.
Sure. Whiskey.
Robin, why don't you help?
Robin looks to Alejandro. Alejandro, you go for it. Robin will mark 1 point of stress
Yes.
to help his fellow goblin.
Nice one.
Incredible.
Although you notice that as you've got your ear to the door, like you've got your ear to the door and you're listening, and like you've got your eyes closed, I'm assuming your face is scrunched up a little bit as you're focusing, and then it's like as you open your eyes, you notice that he's also got his ear to the door, but he's just staring at you.
So, that's real normal behavior, and I'm into it, so it's fine. Have you ever met Umi? Do you know somebody called Umi?
I don't think I met an Umi, but wait, is that like your boyfriend or girlfriend or something?
No, she's pretty cool. She's kind of like, she's cool. She's
just a colleague, I've heard. Magpie says, leaning in. Just a colleague.
So no boyfriend or girlfriend, no. No partner waiting at home for you.
An ominous rumbling.
Okay, yeah, by these roll them bones.
While she's doing that, I just catch his eye and sort of shake my head with a little raise of the eye.
He gives you a wink, a confident wink. He's got this in the
bag. Is this a risky standard?
Yes. With one upgrade of choice.
Okay. I shall add an extra dice.
You can go desperate if you like.
Atta and Grubbin sitting in
Here's my partner, Grubbin. I don't know their name.
We're very much in love. Me and Grubbin.
Yeah, you can change this to a desperate greater if you want before you add your dice. Add your upgrades.
I don't know.
So I only roll one dice anyway, so I'm not rolling great. So I was just thinking about adding another dice.
Okay. But the desperate greater is free if you want to go instead of risky standard. You can go desperate greater to start.
Consider if you fail and you're in a desperate position, he'll probably fill the ominous rumbling clock.
I mean, what are we here for, right? Other than a bit of adventure.
I don't want to fight a crystal golem right now.
If people really don't want me to go desperate great, then I won't. Is this
follow your heart?
Desperate great. Desperate great.
Oh my god.
Frida Natter? Just like...
It's XP all in the end.
Oh well.
You did all right.
Okay.
You did go desperate great. Okay,
Suffer
so
severe harm, a serious complication. Oh god.
okay.
The complication
Resist
is
it.
that Asa now has to go on a date with Grubbin.
Yes, I agree.
The serious complication.
Yes, that's
the
right
date starts now.
I will.
Take one for the team, Atta.
I will offer you hunt. So you're trying to like figure out where it is, right?
Roughly.
It sounds like it's overhead.
Oh. Okay. That's
The
good. We want a good look.
And I will take a reduced so it sounds like it's overhead. The reduced effect is you can't exactly pinpoint it any further than that. Like the ceiling above you seems to be shaking every so often. But yeah. So heading through the door. Cool.
Yeah.
As you and Grubbin and like Grubbin small talking you, like small sweet talking you as you do, you open the door opens up to a room that's about 50 by 50 feet square. Like it's a very, very large room, and you emerge out on what appears to be like a walkway, like a balcony of sorts, that stretches either side of you and along the walls that run to the left and right of you, to the far side of the room. So it's like a large C-shape balcony, if you will. To your left, on that balcony over there, actually on both sides, there are staircases to like up to another balcony over your heads and down to a floor beneath you. And in the void, in the open space in front of you, are large floor-to-ceiling pillars, and all four sides are bookshelves. You realise you're in this huge 3-story library. There are a number, and Atta, you can see that there are a number of, like there's no, like along this balcony that you're stood on, there's certain points where there are no railings, and you know it would hurt to accidentally trip over and fall down, especially from the floor above you. But you notice that there are these like seemingly floating discs that just like just bobbing ever so slightly. They seem to be sort of like hover, like levitational platforms that in lieu of a normal library that would have like a staircase on wheels, it would seem that these discs that have their own little kind of like banister type things to hold on to, the users of this library were levitating up to the book rows that they needed, and then moving back around and using the platforms to move about. Magpie, as you relay this to Algernon, and Algernon, your mind fills in the detail on this empty blueprint. Your minds flash back to Nephene telling you that the vault they suspected was connected to the library.
Nice. Okay.
It's just a case of finding it. Yes, you're in this large 50-foot by 50-foot room, floor-to-ceiling pillars, all sides covered in books, floating platforms, ominous rumbling. What do you do?